Well, welcome back. This is episode 4, season 1, so we'll call it 104 of my flight across the U.S. I started in Maine. We've been working our way to the west. So really, we started in Maine. Ended up at Niagara Falls, then Toledo, Ohio. Now we're going to take off to Chicago. So we're going to clip across Indiana, northwest Ohio, Indiana, into Illinois, where we'll land at Chicago Midway. This is at least the third time I've tried to shoot this video. I have had some technical difficulties. The game crashed once and just kind of ruined everything. I couldn't make it look right in editing to bring it back. The second time, the sound quality was all jacked up. So here I am. I'm going to start over a third time because I want to deliver the best quality content that I'm capable of delivering. So let's take off from Toledo Express. Let's get in the air. Let's head to Chicago Midway. So the first thing I'm going to do, as always, is just get the GPS all set up. I think today we're going to cruise at a nice altitude, get ourselves over there quickly, and perhaps do a little sightseeing around Chicago when we get there. So let's get the plane up. We're only going like 170 miles, so it's not going to take a real long time to get there, but let's get up around 10,000 or so feet. Let's call it 10,000. It's a tough flight from Toledo to Chicago. I don't know if you've ever done it. I've done it a couple of times. It's quick. You know, it's a 45-minute flight in a commercial airliner. It's usually the small jobbies. You know, what is that, like a CRJ or the Embraer? What is that one? The Embraer with the 2 seats on one side, 1 seat on the other side. It's like riding in a Ferrari or something because the thing just boogies and the seat's really uncomfortable. So I think it's pretty good to go. So I have the altitude set for 10,000. Got the nav turned on. Yaw damper. Let's turn on the flight director. We set the altitude. Dang it, I did it out of sequence, so it erased everything. So let's put our 10,000 feet back in there again. Close enough, 11,000. We'll give a vertical speed. I want to get up in the air so we can get some speed going in this bad boy and shorten this thing out the best we can. So we're going to fly at 1,900 feet per second. So let's get this thing off the ground and get in the air. Here we go. Got a 1 knot wind, 1 knot crosswind, so that's not too bad. A little bit of torque from the plane as always. Alright, let's rotate up out of here. Pull up the gear. Take out the flaps. Click in the autopilot. Let's go outside and take a look. Alright, we're up and moving. So over there on the right, I'll highlight it here. This is Interstate 80, 8090. And it'll take us right over to Chicago if we follow it, but I think we're going to clip a little bit off the lake just to get things done a little bit faster. I've driven this stretch of road so many times, it's a lot better to fly it.
Toledo Tower Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha frequency change.
There's a really cool place out here. We'll never see it on the map, of course, because it's just, I'm sure this detail's not there. But right where Ohio, which is over here, Indiana, which is here, and Michigan up here, of course, where the 3 states meet, there's a little spot out in the country. It's on this little 2-lane country road right by some farm. There's this hole in the road. It's maybe 4 inches by 4 inches, and that's the spot. That's where the 3 state lines meet. It's some kind of a marker for people that know what those markers are for. And then just up the road, or just down the road, depending on which way you want to call it, there is a rock with some engraving on it that says 150 feet from here is that point where the 3 states meet. So I always thought it was amusing that they put that on the stone, why they couldn't just put that stone a little closer to the marker itself. but it is something like 150 feet. I don't remember the number. Somewhere I have a picture of it. I've been there twice now. Once with one of my children and the other time with all of them. And they thought, why are we stopping at this stupid thing? Nobody cares. And then they got there and they thought it was pretty cool because they could be in all 3 states, you know, within a half a second just by walking in a small circle. So pretty cool. Another really neat thing is as we're cruising out through here on I-80, I think of this one oasis, or it's a rest area, that is just fantastic. It has great restaurants. It's really clean bathrooms. It's a great stopping point, making that trip over from Illinois into northern Ohio. I can cruise right across Indiana without having to stop. By the time I get into Ohio, I'm ready for a break, get something to drink, and just get back on the road again. So we may be able to see that depending on the path of our flight here. But it's a nice oasis. Weird, the things that we think of. Even when we travel now, we talk about that oasis of, are we going to be near the good one? Are we going to be near the good rest stop, the good oasis? It's really quite nice. And the reason we always stop at that one is the ones in Indiana have been horrendous for the longest time. Just these old dumpy buildings that are 20, 30 years old. They've been updating them. The new ones are pretty nice, so they're putting some competition back on the tollway. We are busting up through here. We're at 8,000 feet. Getting up to our cruising altitude of 11. Let's take a look at our ETA. 46 minutes, 164 miles to go. Once we get up here and level off, we'll pick up a little bit more speed. We're going 214 across the ground right now. I suspect we'll be a tad faster than that. So the day I'm shooting this video on Halloween, and it's warm. It's unseasonably nice. So I'm sitting here in the house roasting. And check the thermostat. Need to knock a couple of degrees off of this thing. It's hot in here. So as I fly my fake airplane across the fake country, I'm having a little sip tonight of some 20-year-old port. If you're old enough to drink and you like quality product, I recommend this. Taylor Fladgate 20-year. Not a sponsor. I wish they were. I'd love them to send me a bottle of that. So cheers. Okay, we are almost up to 11,000. Well, so far, this flight's better than all the others combined. Not a lot to look at here in Indiana. Not from 10 or 11,000 feet anyway. Alright, we're now going 260 knots across the ground. We're leveling out at 11,000 right now. It's looking good. 265. One cool thing about Indiana is you drive across I-80 is all of the RV place. The manufacturers are out here. There's an RV museum. I've never stopped at any of these places, but they look pretty cool. And if you like RVs, I think Indiana's the place for you. This may be the oasis coming up over here. Yeah, I think it is. So this must be right at the edge of Ohio, would be my guess. And that's the good oasis. The place is pretty big. I'm going to go up a few more feet here just to add a little more speed to this thing. We get a little higher. Can scrape out a few more miles per hour here, a couple more knots. So let's bring it up. Get up to about 18. So then when I go back, when I go to land, start coming into midway, I'm going to need to drop 17,000 feet. If I do it at 2,000 feet per minute, I can do it in just over 8 minutes, so 8.5 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll just wait until we're down to like the 9-minute mark or so on the estimated time, and then we'll really drop like a rock. Since it's a fake airplane, nobody gets sick, right? It's all good. Right as we level off at 18,000, you can really see our estimated time really clicking down fast. So we're picking up some serious speed. We're at 277 and climbing. Getting up to 18,000 made a big difference. .282 knots over the ground. We're cooking. Let's take a look outside. And we're definitely a lot higher. You can see a lot more. I want to try to minimize these longer flights. Start doing a little more sightseeing. Just want to get a little further out west first. And the goal is to get across the U.S. It shouldn't take a year. You can see Lake Michigan up in front of us. So we're making good time. And we're down to 20 minutes and 20 minutes even. So we'll go 10 more minutes like this. And then we'll start to descend. Bring it into midway. I'm pretty sure the airport that we see right down here, I believe that's South Bend, so that's where Notre Dame is. Really stands out. "14 minutes to go, 70 miles. This is a good way to get across Indiana. So the college is right over here, directly on the flight path into South Bend Airport. Alright, starting to set it up. We have 10 minutes and 40 seconds. I have our altitude set for 1,500 feet. Another minute here. I'm going to crank this thing down. Start pointing towards the ground. "52 miles to go. 10 minutes and 17 seconds. Thought we should take a look at Chicago while we're here. So I thought we'd fly to the city, do a little lap. Then shoot down to Midway. $9,000 feet. We're getting it down. There it is, popping into view. Gonna slow it down. Coming up on Navy Pier. Lakeshore Drive. You can see the river. Hancock building over here on the right. Sears Tower off in the distance. Willis Tower, I should say. Trump Tower. Used to be the IBM building right here. Marina Towers. I've got an office right here. If I ever go in again, that's a place I would go. Merchandise Mart. Big old building here. Sure miss it. Stall. I better give it some gas. Alright, let's set our GPS up again. Let's head over to Midway and land this thing before I do something stupid. Seven miles from the airport. I see some lights over here, so that must be it. And the rail yards are cool. So much commerce rolls through here. It's amazing. Stuff we never think about. Let me get inside the plane so I can land it. Gotta find a runway. I'm 5 miles out. Turning off the autopilot. Let's go over here and go to this blinking one right here on the left. Man, I sure hope I hit record. This one's gone pretty smooth compared to the other 3 attempts I made to shoot this video. Everything was working against me, and then earlier today when I tried to do this, that's my mistake. I need to wait until everybody goes to bed, and then I can come in here and shoot these videos without any interruptions. Earlier, somebody walked in and started talking. Another time, somebody rang the doorbell. And, you know, those are cool things. Don't get me wrong. They're good interruptions. It just makes it a little difficult to do something with any continuity. So the smart thing to do is wait till everyone kind of winds down for the evening. And I can hide out up in here in the spare bedroom. As you can see the mess behind me. I use this as an office as well. And play some games just to unwind. I thought, why not play around with YouTube? So Toledo to Midway, pretty uneventful. We flew well above Notre Dame and South Bend. We flew over the cool oasis that has Sbarro. Across I-80, a road I have driven far too many times. And back into Chicago, which is kind of where I live, more or less. I live in the suburbs here. So it's good to be home, and we're going to keep this thing rolling. We're going to keep flying west with a goal of getting to San Francisco, stopping along the way, and then I'm going to go south into South America, all through Mexico, Central America, South America, and then probably take a long flight to Africa and just start flying around the world. So this could be kind of cool, and we'll see if it ever catches on. Doesn't really matter. Kind of doing this just for me. It's kind of fun. Alright, this is lining up pretty nice. Oh, and then I bounced it. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. If this was a real plane, I might be embarrassed. Alright, welcome to Chicago Midway. Alright. That's it. We're on the ground at Midway. Next, we'll go further. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks.